I am truly so excited for 2023, and I hope that you are too. Like, 2022 was one of the best years of my life, not even just in a I achieved all the things I wanted to achieve kind of thing. Like, it truly grew me in a way that I've never grown before. And that's really all I want to come from each year, just more growth, more elevation, more lived experience. But your girl did achieve a lot of the things she set out to achieve. I feel like there's a lot of content already around like manifestation, and I'm happy to share like that side of things if you guys are interested in that. But where I feel like I can provide the most value is telling you the steps that I actually took beyond the manifesting to achieve the things that I set out to achieve. Last year was the first year that I really kind of took baby steps in manifesting the life that I really, really want to live. And everything that I set my mind to last year, I literally achieved it. I literally got it. One of my biggest goals was to travel last year, and I did that and more. Like, I went to Paris, South Africa, New York for the first time, New Mexico. I mean, I moved to California, having never even visited once. And I feel like I was able to do a lot of that by just shaking off those limiting beliefs and stepping into the person that I say I want to be and like just showing up fully for my life. And also by implementing the tips that I'm going to share later in this episode. One of my big things for this year is just taking full accountability of my life, no longer making excuses and comparing myself and just looking at what other people are doing. I realized how much time that wastes. And not to get too like emo about it, but this life is way too precious to be sitting around moping, comparing myself to other people, wishing I had what they had, you know? This year, I'm just really stepping into my full self, no longer playing small, just fully taking up all the space. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the tips. These are the 4 tips that are going to help you finally get consistent with your goals. I hope so. And I'm speaking from experience because once I stopped doing these things, that's when I started to see actual progress and consistency. So let's go ahead and get into tip number 1. You have to stop caring about what other people think of you. I've heard that a million times, but I didn't realize like how much I was still letting the thoughts and opinions of other people hold me back. Case in point, on January 2nd, I went to the gym because one of my biggest goals this year is to implement weightlifting back in. And so I've had this gym membership for a minute, but I have not been going. I've just been psyching myself up to go. And on January 2nd, I said, you are getting your ass in the gym today. We're starting weightlifting. We're lifting the heavy circles. So I go into the gym, and none of these thoughts were even in my head until I stepped foot in the gym. And as I was going in there, I started thinking this is me thinking what the people are thinking. I'm like, they're probably thinking, I've never seen her in here before. Like, or, I hate when people join the gym in January. Like, because the gym also was really crowded at the time I was going. And I'm such a people pleaser, and I'm like really working on that. And so I'm just like trying not to be in the way, and I'm shrinking myself to make it seem like I'm not getting in the way of the people who regularly go to the gym. Now, I just said I never even go to this gym. So how would I even know who are the regulars and who are the new people? Like, I wouldn't even know that. But I was just getting in my head so much about being a person going to the gym in January, like thinking people were judging me for that. And literally not one person came up to me and was like, you're lame for being in the gym on January. Nobody came up to me and said that. No one probably was even thinking about me. That's the thing too. Like, we think people are constantly thinking about us, but in reality, they're not. We're just projecting what we think people are thinking onto them, you know? Like, I was projecting what I thought people thought of me onto them, when in reality, they probably weren't even thinking of me in the first place. Same thing with content creation. I talked about this in last week's episode, but it's still really hard for me to post on Instagram because I don't want any of my friends or family to feel like I'm trying to be an influencer or a content creator, even though that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And it's because I just care so deeply about what they think. And even though every time I post, literally every single time I post, my family and my friends are the most supportive, but I still am like projecting this idea that they think I'm being cringy or it's embarrassing or whatever to be posting content. And I think that is a thing too. Like, having goals in general is just cringy and embarrassing. And it makes it even more embarrassing when you're like outwardly going for a goal and like people are like witnessing you go for this goal, because it's also scary too if you fail. None of us want that shame of failure. But that's just a realistic part of things. Like, a lot of times when I post a TikTok, they flop, you know? It is what it is, but if I have a goal of being a content creator, I have to keep showing up. Like, I can't just let a flop video stop me from doing the thing, you know? You have to stop caring what people think. I mean, this is a quote. Your fear of looking stupid is holding you back. And like I said in the beginning of this episode, time is so precious. And my biggest thing is like, I don't want to get at the end of my life and just have all these I wish. And that's the main reason I moved to California last year, is because I always wanted to live in California. So ever since I was a little girl, I always had dreams of living here, and just moved on a whim. Had never even visited, you know? I did an Airbnb stay, and maybe I'll do a whole little other thing on that if y'all are curious on my move to California, but I want to have as little regrets as possible. And so the only way to really make that happen for myself is to keep showing up. Step number 2, you have to start small. The goals y'all are setting are too big. Like, you ain't never set a goal before in your life, and the goals that you're finally setting are wild and audacious. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think let's break those super big goals down into smaller goals. You can't go from 0 to 100 immediately. We have to take some baby steps. One of my favorite resources on this is the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. I feel like I've talked about this a million times, but if you have not read it, you need to. And if you don't feel like reading that book, he has a really good podcast with Brene Brown, and it's a 2-parter. It's like they break it into 2 episodes, and literally the whole book is broken down in that podcast episode. So if you're not a big reader and you would just rather listen to something, I would highly suggest that. And I actually revisit that podcast episode a lot more than I come back to the book, because it's such a good reminder of the power of just setting small habits, because they're not going to stay small forever. It's going to compound. And the main reason we have to start small is because you have to build that trust with yourself. For me, I started my fitness journey in 2018. And it wasn't until last year, 2022, that I actually found some consistency with fitness. And it was mainly because I took the pressure off. Before, every time I started any kind of journey, I will always make it diet and fitness and supplements and the water and all the things. But this time I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on moving my body. I don't care what movement it is. I don't care how long it's for, just some kind of movement. And taking that pressure off allowed me to find workouts that I really enjoy. As you guys know, if you follow me, I became obsessed with Pilates this past year. And I took over, I think, 150 classes, and I only started in May. So like, that shows you like how consistent I was. And I discovered walking. I was really feeling like Kelly from Insecure when I discovered walking, because I was like, man, walks are everything. I love a walk. And I live in such a beautiful walkable area now. And so it was like the perfect timing for me to discover a walk. And then I found spin. I am obsessed with spin, and I'm really good at it. Like, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I'm like very good at spin. I took my boyfriend to one class, and like, yeah, he couldn't keep up, and he's very fit, but he could not keep up with me in spin. So that goes to show you like I'm very good at it. But but yeah, like, I was able to find workouts that I really, really love. And because of that, when December 31st came and I looked over my life the past year, I felt so good about myself. And I had so much confidence to say, you know what, this year, let's add on some more goals. Because I built that confidence in the year before, to trust myself, to know that I'm a person that keeps their commitments. I'm a person that can show up to a workout. I'm a person that can do hard things. But that only came from the consistency I built in that year. The year prior, I could not have said that about myself. And I didn't have that confidence in myself because I wasn't showing up like that. But now I can say those things because I have the evidence to prove it. And so now I feel good about adding in the water. Like, as I started this episode with, I have my emotional support Stanley Cup with me at all times. And I've been killing, like, it's January 4th today, at the point of me recording this, and I've been killing this water. Like, if you want to get your water in, like, get you a Stanley Cup. I don't want or any kind of cup. Like, you don't need a Stanley Cup, but any kind of really cute cup. They have them on sale at Target right now. That was the only thing I asked for Christmas too, was a Stanley Cup. Day 4, still killing my water. Very proud of myself about that. And I'm focusing on my diet. I'm cooking more. And I was already kind of like getting into some of those habits at the end of last year. I wasn't making it a goal. I was just like, hey, let's cook a little bit more. Let's experiment with some recipes, bought a new cookbook, those kind of things. But this year I'm like, okay, I would like to be eating more 80-20. And I feel good about setting that goal because of the consistency that I established myself. Like, my confidence is very, very high right now because I've proven to myself that I can show up. When I say I'm going to show up, I show up. And I feel really good about that because I've started so many fitness journeys. I've lost the weight and put it right back on and then some. And for me, I do not want to do that again. Like, I want to make sure all the habits that I'm implementing are going to be lifelong habits. I don't want the quick fix. And that brings me to my third tip: stop looking for the quick fix. Any success that you want to be a lasting success, a lifelong success, it's going to take time. I did not think it would take me an entire year to get consistent with fitness. And even saying that, like, I feel a little bit ashamed, like, oh, it took you an entire year, but it did. And it may not take you as long, but for me, it took me that long. And like I said, I have lost and gained the weight, and anytime I've tried to do the quick fix, it did not work. And I would gain all the weight right back and then some. It wasn't something that was fitting into my lifestyle. It's just a quick little something. And it's exactly that. As quick as it comes is as quick as it's going to go. But real behavior change takes time. Even with content creation, with literally every single video I've posted this year, I'm like, I should be a full-time content creator. I watched literally all the videos on how to crack the algorithm, what hashtags to use, what sounds to use, what's this, like all the little quick fixes. One video I watched that I'm glad I found, I can't remember the creator, unfortunately, but he was basically saying, no matter how many tips, how many things you try, sometimes your videos just suck. And you need time to get better as a content creator. You need to put those reps in at editing. You need to put those reps in at talking to the camera, That takes time to develop. It takes time to grow as a content creator. And it's so hard especially with TikTok, because I feel like we see so many people blow up overnight. Like, I feel like the big girl right now is Alex Earl, and a lot of people are comparing themselves to her. But it's like, there's always going to be these people who blow up and look like they don't deserve what they have, or whatever to compare yourselves to. Whether it's Alex Earl or Nepo babies or whoever, it's always going to be someone who just blew up randomly to compare yourselves to. And with TikTok, I feel like we're seeing that on a large scale, and these people just seem like regular, everyday folks. And you're just like, why can't it be me? Like, I'm showing up, I'm doing the things. And these are, like, I think this stuff too. But something I had to realize was that these people are not the rule. They're the exception to the rule. For most of us, it's going to take us doing the work and showing up consistently and just getting better. And it's going to take time. And that may not be the thing that you want to hear. And I'm sorry. It's definitely not the thing I want to hear, because I definitely want to blow up quick too. But it's the reality. These things just take time. I had to be real with myself too. How much time am I actually putting in on my goals versus watching the videos on how to achieve my goals, or watching the videos on how to blow up really quickly on TikTok, or comparing myself to other people? Like, do a time audit. Look and see how much time you're actually putting in on your goals. Because for me, I was thinking I was working on my goals a lot because I was watching all these videos and just scrolling on TikTok in general. I would be like, oh, I'm scrolling, just looking for sounds. But then like 2 hours go by and I'm just like, just being on the app, versus making videos, coming up with video ideas, filming, editing, I mean, for you might be actually putting a lot of time in on your goals, but for me, I wasn't. And I had to be real with myself about that when I was complaining about not getting the things I wanted to get. And that's why self-awareness is so key. I would spend some time with yourself and just be really real with yourself. Like, be honest, brutally honest. Have you been putting in the work that you really need to actually see your goal come to fruition, wherever it may be? I'm speaking about fitness and content creation, but this goes for whatever you're trying to achieve. And for my last tip, stop looking outside of yourself for the answers. This goes to what I was just saying about like watching all those videos. Like, at the end of the day, you already know what you need to do. If you want to be an author, you just need to write. I mean, yeah, there are things like actual logistical things that you may need to learn, but it's like, are you even at that point in the process yet? Like, the first step is to write the book. You don't need to be reading about publishing or watching videos on how to publish a book if you haven't even got the book in the first place. You need to focus on writing. When it comes to fitness, like, yeah, there are some things like what workouts to do or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, sitting on your butt and watching a million more videos on how to get fit isn't going to get you any more fitter. You need to do the things you already know you need to do, like taking a simple walk or drink some water, take a fitness class. There's so many other things you can do besides just watching yet another video on how to get fit, how to become a content creator. You need to create content. I can go on and on. But I feel like a lot of us kind of use self-help content or motivational content as just more procrastination. And then I was such a victim of this. I was reading all the books, watching all the David Goggins videos or Ed Milet or whoever, like all your favorite motivational speakers. And I would spend so much time watching that content. Yeah, I would get motivated for a second, and then I would just watch more of their content. And it's like, this is not putting me any further to the goals that I'm trying to achieve. And self-help content is kind of like tricky because you are learning a lot of stuff and you are getting really motivated. And so it could feel like you're working towards your goal, or like not even just self-help content, but just like even watching content, like teaching yourself about the thing that you want to do. It can feel like you're working towards your goal, but you have to be real with yourself and say, like, do I already know all this? Do I need to watch another video? Or do I just need to pull out a piece of paper and pen and start writing my book? Or pull out my camera and start filming a video, you know? Like, be real with yourself because you already know what you need to do. And the reason you know what you need to do is because you had this inkling, this motivation, this pull to do whatever it is you want to do. And I can guarantee you already knew the first step you needed to take for that. But I feel like sometimes too, we like talk ourselves out of things or try to convince ourselves that we're worthy of wanting the thing that we want in the first place. I feel like especially women of color, like we get an idea for something and then we're like, oh, but I can't do this. And then you watch the videos and then you're like trying to see like how much work it actually takes. Maybe this is just me, but then you're like looking at how much work it actually takes. And it's like you kind of like trying to talk yourself out of the idea in the first place, or trying to convince yourself that you're worthy of the thing that you're wanting. And it's like you already are worthy because you want it. You're already deserving because God placed it on your heart for you to go after. The universe, whoever, placed it on your heart for you to go after. So that already made you worthy of the thing. Just go for it. It's yours. You just have to go for it. All right, I'm done preaching. But yeah, I hope that helped. And the last thing I just wanted to say too is that I know that there is like so much New Year's content. Like obviously I'm making a New Year's video as well. But I just want to remind you, your New Year starts when you say it starts, not when the calendar says it starts. If you want your New Year to start in February, it starts in February. If you want it to start at your birthday, it starts at your birthday. Personally, I like to live a little bit birthday to birthday. And my birthday is in the middle of the year too. It's July 19th, if you're curious. I'm a Cancer. This New Year's time really serves as like a good midpoint check-in for me. But yeah, don't feel like you need to suddenly uphaul your life and do all the things. Like, ease into this new year. And if it feels better for you to start working on your goals in February, do that. I feel like January 1st or January is kind of like a Monday. Like you don't have to wait till January to start working on your goals. You can work on your goals literally whenever you want to. This is your life. You can set it up however you want. And with that, that is all the tips that I have for you guys. I hope you found some value in this. I hope that this helps. Thank you so much for watching. Down in the comments, please let me know what you're fostering for yourself this year. I would love to know so I can hold you accountable and so other people in this community can hold you accountable. And if you enjoyed this and you think someone else may get some value from it, please share this. That helps this podcast grow and allows us to find new people, a new community, and help us gain support. Another goal that I have is really growing this podcast and making it something lucrative for me. So any support that you can offer will really help me in that goal, and I really will appreciate it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I would really love if you could give us a review, 5-star rating, all the things. That also helps us really grow as a podcast. Just any and all support is very much so appreciated. And with that, I will bid you adieu. I hope you have a great new year. I'm wishing you so much success in all the goals that you are setting for yourself, and I know you'll get them because you're that girl. And that's what we're doing this year. 2023, we are not playing small anymore. We are showing up for ourselves fully, and we're going after our goals. So yeah, with that, I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Bye.